Jingle Jangle is about believing in a hopeful life, a hopeful world, a hopeful time. I think we get to explore it through the magic of inventions, but even more importantly, the inventions of the emotions inside of the family. Because I think the family and the structure of the family is like one of the big things that is at the core of the film. Veronica's Jangle lost all the things that he thought was valuable, and as a result, he lost the things that were most valuable to him. His wife died, his daughter left, he's seen his granddaughter. His world is over, his imagination or belief in magic is gone. And I think he has to come back to the core of his family and understanding what that means, understanding about the magic of love. I mean, Jeronicus has been working for years and years to be able to create something that was spectacular, amazing. And he did. He created Don Juan. He literally brought this little being to life. And then it was stolen by his apprentice. Not only was Don Juan stolen, but all of his inventions, all of his books were stolen and taken from him. All the places where he put his imagination into were wiped away. And he had to watch as this other man, Gustafsson, rose from his inventions. And he continued to fall until finally you find him alone in a pawn shop. All of us have felt in moments, I think, where we've lost belief in ourselves and in things that can happen in our lives, in our loves that were lost. And this movie lets us know that you can find those things again. And I think that's something that everyone understands. This notion of reuniting a family is really a big theme too, and I think that's something that people all understand. Whether they've ever been able to reunite their family, so many people are estranged from their family. They have this hope and this wish deep down, even though they've maybe even tried to discard it, squash it underneath their feet, that it could happen, that something can happen for them. He's a quantum physicist. He's an inventor, but you watch him making these formulas in the air. You watch her do the same thing. You watch them find what in the olden days would be like the elixir of life and putting it inside of this object to animate. It's almost shamanic in that respect, to take something and to infuse it inside of a doll or an instrument or thing of that nature and it come to life and it to be a part of our reality and our world. What's infused in the film that I think people won't be able to understand is David Talbot. I think he's been trying to get this done for 20 years, this story. And everything is infused with his spirit and his joy. If you go on the set, you feel this amazing feeling of joy, and because he's so giving and open and open to ideas, but clear on what he wants and desires, free to show people that he can give. And I think that spirit of that kind of energy is infused inside the film. And I think that people, they don't know when they watch something why the vibration changes them and why they want to see it and why they're so caught up in it. And I think in this case, part of that reason is going to be, a big part of that reason is going to be David. It's a fascinating character, Veronica's Jangle. I thought it was a great opportunity to get to work with somebody I think is really talented, and then get to explore a character that was coming from a place of complete. You see him in his joy, and then you see him in totally, very quickly after, a complete loss, and then how you rebuild that inside of yourself. It was a great thing to be able to experience a character, and then to watch the journey to enliven myself, to find more joy, to find more happiness. This is a great opportunity for me to get a chance to work on something like that with someone I trust like David to do it. One of the things I was most concerned about when we were first working on the part or trying to figure it out was living too much into the pain and the darkness of the character. I mean, I think we have to find a character who's resolved as to where he is, and then we watch him enliven himself. And that doesn't divorce itself from humor. That doesn't mean that he's not absurd at times. His own obsessions make him sometimes slightly absurd, which make them slightly funny sometimes. You know what I mean? And it was that trying to figure out those kind of balances and looking at the script and just little scientific thinking, trying to look at the formulas coming into set. I was here early. So I was here like, I don't know, month and a half early, you know what I mean? So even when they were creating the inventions and stuff, it was going in and visiting the inventions and looking at seeing what they were and trying to possess them as my own and keeping a little book of my own things. And it's a different journey. But I started working in New York, and then I carried forward through it here. I haven't sang in forever, and so I didn't think I could sing. I wasn't sure if I would be able to sing. And honestly, the guy in New York, Matt Farnsworth, I started working with him on, doing vocalizing and stuff to get ready. And he made me feel confident again. He made me realize I could sing. Maybe I'm not gonna sound like Anika, I'm gonna have my own way, but I can at least carry a tune, and it could, it made me feel strong. It made me feel comfortable. The dancing and the choreography and the singing is so amazing. What's interesting about it, like I said when I said David, is like the crew seems to have taken such a strong personal stake in the film that they've applied themselves and put some tiny details into everything. So when you walk into a room, there's little details about stuff everywhere. You walk in, there's little words and painting, other things that nobody's gonna see, but they do. And it's that they know it's there, and that changes the vibration of the room. And it's those kind of things, I think, as I said before, that people feel innately in inside of them. The kind of care that's being done, everywhere you look, the dancers, when they're hitting the ground, they're going hardcore. Madalen, she's done amazing stuff, with both the songs she's done and also all the scenes she's done. So you can see just so many things. I think she's amazing. I think she's an extraordinary young girl. She's really talented as an actress. She's a really great singer. She has an amazing sense of humor, hyper intelligent person, quite wise in many ways, and yet having the capacity to just be a child at any second, never losing that connection to fun, the thing that kids, to be able to look at things and see them for the first time, even while she's behaving as if she's seen them 1,000 times before. I'm actually really excited to see the scenes in Gustafson's factory. I saw when we did the read-through, and I looked at some of the rehearsals. David showed me some of the rehearsals, the choreography and stuff, earlier. And and thinking of him doing that is, it's going to be it's a lot of moments where people are going to go. I think the people will go, if it was a film, I would say they're going to go 2 or 3 times, just because they're going to miss certain things, because they're going to be caught up in one of the moments that went before it. I identify with Geronicus. I think sometimes I can live in a more shadowed place, and he's living there, and he starts to grow out of it, and I think I can understand that. I think that at my core, I believe in the miraculous. I believe in possible, the notion that anything can occur. I believe that. I believe that, there are things that life throws at you that make things difficult. And you can sometimes lose that sheen or spark. And that's happened to me. And I think I can gain those things back too.
You've never seen a movie like this that is related to the holidays. It's a movie that it doesn't matter what part of the world you come from, you will find a character that you will relate to. For kids, for parents, I see myself as a father in 10 years from now, watching this movie with my kids. It unites families, for sure. It's full of beautiful messages. It's about second chances. It's about love. First of all, to be able to work with David Talbert is amazing. He's an incredible director and an outstanding creator. And to be able to be surrounded with such amazing actors. Forrest Whitaker? Wow, am I going to think about it twice to be able to be part of a cast with him? I think it's amazing. But also the message. Also, I see myself sitting with my kids and watching this movie and them becoming different people after they see this movie. My kids don't know that I'm doing this movie, although they are very smart kids and they see me talking with a different accent and I'm practicing and all of a sudden I become Don Juan in the middle of the living room and they go, "Dad, what are you working on?" And I really want to surprise them. I want to sit with them and I just want to watch Netflix and let them discover me as an actor, as Don Juan. And they'll be like, "I told you, you see, you were working on something special." This is special. I can see them saying these words. In Jingle Jangle, I play Don Juan. Don Juan is the only animated character in the film, and it's magical. But he's a bit of a villain. He's very selfish, self-centered. It's all about him, me, myself, and I. Since Don Juan thinks that the world is about him, Anika said that he was going to replicate him. It's going to be a million of Don Juans. Imagine the shelves filled with Don Juans for kids from all over the world. And that was it. Don Juan said, no, I am the one and only Don Juan, Maestro Don Juan. So that was it for him. No, I'm sorry. You cannot, there's no two of me. To be able to work with David and Lyn, wow. Amazing minds that allow you to be yourself when you walk into set. They are not dictatorial. They just let you be. Do you have an idea? What would you do? What would you? And as an actor, as a creator, it just sets you free. And then in the creative process, there are no limits. I am so thankful to be able to work with them, and I hope this is only the beginning of a very beautiful professional relationship between us. Well, obviously, when I said yes to the film, fine, I need to talk to the director and I need to talk to the creators. And he was in London, I was in Los Angeles, and it was through a Skype. and then we talked. We talked about what the movie was about, and they told me, "Ricky, but we want Don Juan to be a very important character in this. So for this to happen, we just need to talk. Tell me, when you read the script, tell me what you feel, what you like, what you don't like. Let's just make him shine." And immediately I felt completely comfortable because the possibilities are endless when you work that way. People will go crazy over this film because number one, it's about magic. It's about the holiday season and everything that comes with it, the joyful emotions that you get in the holiday seasons. But it's important for people to know that it doesn't matter what part of the world you come from, you will be able to understand. Wardrobe, animation, outstanding acting, beautiful actors, very credible actors, and I think you will love the music. In this movie, you also learn that when you lose faith, when you lose hope, well, it can come from any direction. And in this case, a young child injected life to someone that thought everything was over. Jingle Jangle's got something for everyone. It's a musical. If you love music, if you're a fan of music, you will be fascinated by music. If you love great storytelling, you must watch Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle is a Christmas movie that is about fantasy and family and love and rediscovery. My character's name is Jessica Jangle, very cute name, and I am the daughter of Geronicus Jangle, the great inventor who has lost his mojo and in doing so lost me. And I have a young daughter named Journey who has taken up where I left off What we find out in the movie is that I too was an inventor, and I released it when my father released us. And I have a daughter who is carrying on the gene of inventing, but also the gene of magical thinking. We have phenomenal musicians. Like, it's really exciting. Harvey Mason and I actually worked together on Dreamgirls, so it was a pleasant surprise to run into him again. Phil and I are meeting for the first time, and what a joy. What a wonderful presence in the studio. And people don't know his name, but he writes for Bruno Mars, so they know his music. And that was thrilling to me to know that he was going to be here, because I'm a big fan of big fan sounds so trite, but I really mean it. Like, I'm a big fan of what he does, and I think that his music is lasting. Even though he lives in the pop world, it's lasting music, and it has roots. And John Legend also wrote a phenomenal song. The musicians are phenomenal. The studio work and the producers in the studio are fantastic. We're in very good hands, and I was just allowed to really let go in a way that I don't think people have heard me sing before, because it's not what I'm usually asked to do, and it's been something that I've been yearning to do, so I'm excited to release it. I don't think I've ever seen a Christmas special with Black people. I don't think I ever have seen it. And I certainly haven't seen it in a fantasy viewpoint. And then we're also seeing ourselves, Black people, but also people of color in general, represented in the 19th century in this beautiful, like, Victorian-ish clothing, no chains. That is very exciting, to be able to represent the part of society that lived and created and loved and had families and lives that were not dealing with the everyday horrors of slavery, which is something that I think is constant when you think of, or when you're seeing Black people represented in that time period in the past. And it was not everybody's life. It was not everybody's reality. It's colorful, and it's magical, and it's beautiful, and it's welcoming, because although it is a story about a Black family, everyone is involved in this. We have white people in it. We have beautiful Asian woman who's in it, and she's not the only one, but everyone is represented on this screen, living and dancing and creating in these clothing. That's not really grammatically correct. Michael Wilkinson, who is Australian, and he's done this amazing thing with the fabrics where you have traditional African fabric that is turned into this Victorian gear. So you're never allowed to forget where these people come from or what the history is that has been melded into this landscape, because African history, African American history, but African history as a singular thing, has woven itself into the history of the world. There's nowhere that it hasn't touched. And yet, we tend to create things as if it didn't exist until a certain time, or as if people didn't move around and travel until a certain time. So it's a really beautiful thing, and you'll see it in the choreography too, that sort of the origin spot for everyone is represented in what is happening in this piece. And it's something to truly be proud of. I think this movie not only can be, but will be a new holiday tradition for families, because it is very traditional, because the music is phenomenal, because it's welcoming, it is exciting, it's warm. We have phenomenal children in the piece, like just phenomenal kids. I think it is something that people will want to watch over and over again, child or adult. I think the movie itself is a beacon of hope, But I also think that the movie, it lights a candle in people. I think it lights a candle in people's hearts. And it's a beautiful thing because you have a person who is an adult who gave up on himself. And you see where it happens and what that means. And then you have his child and her child bringing that hope back to life. And what that really says is that it's never too late. It's never too late to be hopeful. It's never too late to love. It's never too late to give. But once you give up on yourself, you've released everything. It has been a fabulous process, I have to say. And I'm going to stick to David because he's the head of the ship. And that's where things either go really right or really wrong. And we're in a situation where it's going really right. It's a very open set. It's a very happy set. It's a very inclusive set. And he called me and my people about a year ago to offer this to me. And then we were trying to set up phone calls and nothing happened. And then we had a Skype call where I don't even think I had on anything but chapstick. And he still offered it to me, so yay. But it has been a joyous, joyous thing, and it's been a dream of his for years. So when you see an adult who feels like a kid because their dream is coming to life, it's just a fantastic thing to be a part of. And I would bet that anybody that you ask about him would say it's been a fabulous working experience, and I look forward to something else sometime soon. And it's good for people to see his imagination because everything that he has done thus far has been sort of rooted in real life and just real, comedic but real. This is not real, and I would go so far as to say that his fantasy mind is even better than his real life mind. It's unfettered and it's full of joy, and that's fantastic.
Jingle Jangle is about a toy maker named Jeronicus Jangle, who is a man who lives a life of imagination and belief and hope, and that is what he uses to fuel his inventions. And what happens is an event takes place in his life where he starts to lose all hope, and he abandons beliefs that wonderful things can happen. And a little bit later in his life, his granddaughter comes into his world, and she reignites that passion for belief and imagination and believing in oneself. And that's really kind of thematically what the movie's about. Gustafson is his apprentice, and what he does is he ends up Jeronicus has a large book of diagrams and formulas and graphs of the inventions that he's made and inventions that he's planning on making. And Gustafson takes the book, he steals the book from him, and starts his own company and his own empire using Jeronicus's inventions. And so that's this huge overarching event, this kind of cataclysmic event that takes place in the beginning of his life, and then it all kind of starts to unravel from there. My character's name is Gustafson, and he's a very ambitious, in the beginning of the story, a very ambitious, wide-eyed young man who also wants to be an inventor. And much like he's an apprentice to Jeronicus Jangle, who's the greatest inventor ever, so certainly in Gustafson's eyes. And he wants to become an inventor. And then what happens later in life is he, through some sense of maybe a lack of self-worth, makes a bunch of decisions that aren't helpful in his life. But now, even though he has wealth and he has fame, he's a guy that is very much about appearances. Inside he's a very sad, kind of broken person, but he's all about height of fashion, he's always Depeche Mode, if you will, and he sees everything that if I put more glitter on it, more gloss on it, more entertainment to it, maybe it'll be okay. It never is, so he keeps on trying and keeps on trying. First two musicals I ever did were in high school were musicals. I did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and then I did Godspell, if you're sensing a theme. I went to a Catholic school. So, and then the next musical I did was in 2004, and I did a Shakespeare musical that was about Romeo and Juliet, and it was really the time of my life. I've been looking forward to this, and now I'm in a position I'm playing a song and dance man. And so I get to be a song and dance man, which is really just beyond. I'm just really thrilled about this whole experience. being surrounded by dancers, and you get to do them. I've always wanted to be the person that gets to do like the 6 moves in the middle, and then the rest. Then they do flips, and then people think about that you can do flips. So so it's really really exhilarating. Dance rehearsals have been really great, and the choreographer Ashley Warren he's really lovely, and his staff they just, the good thing is they just kind of run you in there. They just go, hey, nice to meet you. So we're gonna do this, that, and you're gonna move like that, and you're just and you're just in it. You're just in it. So that way it's been very comfortable because you're not. I was gonna get like, I have some trepidation about the dancing. Then they just run in it, and they're lovely because they just go, you can dance, anyone can dance, and then it gives you some confidence. So it's been great. I've been having a really wonderful time working with David and Lyn. David's super collaborative, and really, but also he's been very, very good with the notes. So he'll give you a note, and it will hit something inside of you and go, oh, I can identify with that, and then you can merge it with the character. And we've been really great. He's very good at kind of taking you aside, having a little conference with you, just helping remind you how to connect the dots. And he's been wonderful. Just wonderful. You're seeing people of color being represented in a way you have seldom seen. I've seen people of color in movies that are set in periods, but not when they're the focal point of it. And also not when, for us to care about their emotional journeys, their lives, their hopes, their dreams. And, oh gosh, I'm hesitating to say this. You can cut it out if you don't want to use it. But it's just nice to see people of color working in a period piece, and they're not slaves. It's really a wonderful thing. The story's about them. There's no comment made about it. It's just about the acumen of these particular artists and what they're going to do in this particular project. And that really excites me. It's one of the reasons I said yes. I was like, oh, Victorian era? Oh, it's a musical? Oh, Phil wrote the music? Everybody's black. I'm like, I'm in. It was really, I think it's brave and bold and needed. One of the main themes is, with the help of my family or the help of those who love me, I can restore this wonderful aspect of humanity in myself. We should all have hope, and it's not benchmark. What's the word I'm looking for? It's one of the foundations of this story. I feel that he was a person who lost hope, lost a sense of belief about himself, and in the end, it pulls him back. And I see that. That's something that resonates with me. I really identify with Jessica because I see her making an effort. She's trying to push forward, and when you think about the number in the show, Make It Work Again, it really gives me chills because it's about people. It's like when you apologize to somebody because you're really, really sorry, and you really, really mean it. And that is not an easy task. And to see someone say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to admit that I love you, that life was better when I was happy, that this isn't working and I could do something that is working. And she evokes that. There's a bravery in that. There's a bravery in showing that kind of vulnerability to let her daughter visit her father. And I think she's really a terrific character.
Well, my character's name is Journey Jangle, and actually, fun fact about her is her real name is Journey Jackson James Jones Jangle. Yes, it's a lot. And Journey is a really determined person, and what are some things I really like about her? One of her goals in this film is to get her family back together, which I think is really awesome. And she's feisty, and she has a spunky personality, and she's also a great inventor too, so that's great.
My character's name is Edison Latimer, and he is he's a bit clumsy. He is kind of funny, but he doesn't mean to be funny. He thinks he knows it all when he doesn't, and then he can get scared very easily. Something that I like about Edison is that because his professor, he he stops believing in himself and all his inventions, so he tries to reignite his belief as an inventor.
Oh, well, this is very interesting. When Journey first meets her grandfather is very standoffish and rude to her, which is not how she pictured he would be at all. But she never gives up because he's always trying to, like, go away, kid. But she never gives up and keeps, like, being excited and all like, you're my grandfather, yay! And his attitude is just like, So, yeah, it's really not what she expects it to be when she first meets him.
When he comes out the elevator and he first sees Journey, he is a bit like, who are you and what are you doing here? And then when he finds out it's the professor's granddaughter, I think he feels a bit threatened by that because he is the professor's apprentice and he doesn't want anyone higher than he is. So then he kind of tries to control her, makes her be his apprentice.
Yes, I do think we're pretty similar, not just in math. We're pretty similar just in general in our personalities. But yes, I really do like math. Well, we're both really adventurous, and we both like to try new things and learn new things. And Journey loves cats, too, and I love cats. Yeah, those are just some of our similarities.
Yes, me and Edison are pretty similar. First of all, because Edison does like food, and I like eating as well. Edison can be a bit, I know it all. Sometimes I can be a bit like that, but really I don't have a clue. So, we're pretty similar in some ways.
I do not have a complete favorite scene, but I do have favorite scenes that I've done with different people. So with Kieran, my favorite scene was when he confessed to Journey about liking her. And then with Mr. Forrest Whitaker, my favorite scene was when he found us in his workshop and we were playing with Buddy and he got really mad at us.
So far, my favorite scene would probably be when I first meet Journey and we first see the Body 3000 and we start to fly and then Andronicus comes in, he tells us off, because that's like one big scene. That's definitely my favorite scene so far.
Magic Man G, performed by Gustafson. It's so great. I love it because it's very upbeat and energetic, and it's just like it just sounds like a big party, and it's just a really fun song, and I love it.
I can't choose one, but I've got my top three. That's Magic Man G, This Day, and Make It Work.
Well, when I was younger, my mom and I used to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated one. But now we don't really watch movies together as a family. But I do have a favorite holiday movie, and it's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical with Jim Carrey. I love that version. It's the best.
I actually have two. It's kind of a hard question. I do like Jingle All the Way and Christmas Chronicles.
Actually, no, they have to give me pointers because musical theater is so much different from film. Musical theater is so much bigger, and whereas with movies, they're right up on your face with the camera, so you don't need to be as dramatic or anything. So actually, they help me a lot.
Jingle Jangle is a holiday movie with a fantastic soundtrack. It's a classic tale, but it has a modern twist to it. And it tells the story of a fabulous inventor called Jeronicus Jangle. And through various tragic twists and turns in his life. He finds himself at rock bottom. And then really it's through the love of his estranged granddaughter who makes him realise his own worth, his own value, and to believe in himself again and follow his dreams. So it's a really beautiful story. And it sort of tells the relationship between a grandparent and their grandchildren. It's really beautifully written. My character is Ms. Johnston, and she's the postal lady in Cobbleton, which is the little town where Jingle Jangle set. And she's bubbly and warm and fun. She's professional. She's really proud of her job, because this is the late 19th century, and she's this professional woman driving her own vehicle. And she's bold as well. She's not shy. If she sees something, she goes for it. She tries to get it. She completely understands what Jeronicus is going through. She's coming from a place of experience. She's had that loss herself. And so she's almost trying to teach him, this is life, the circle of life. We lose people, but for those of us who are still here, we have an opportunity to live, and we should live our best lives. You know, just keep smiling, keep laughing, keep enjoying life. David is a fantastic director, and I felt really safe with him, and he's encouraged me and helped me along the journey. So hopefully you'll tell me if I've got it right or not. This film is an absolute dream. I mean, the ethos and the themes of the film are to follow your dreams, but just being part of this film, I feel like I'm following my dream, because he's taken a chance with me and given me an opportunity, one that I've never had before. I mean, I'm in my 40s. I won't tell you how old, but this is my first big movie, and I feel like a child. I'm absolutely enjoying the entire process. I'm working with all the creatives. It's such a fantastic mix, and I think he has the measure of it right. He's such a good, honest and kind and generous man that all the people that he attracts are like-minded, and so it makes for just this beautiful dance almost. So I just feel really honoured and privileged and blessed to be a part of it. I really loved that the story was about a black inventor. So growing up as a child, we weren't really told that we were inventors and scientists. We knew we could dance, we knew we could sing, we knew we were great at sport. But hearing that we invented, I mean, actually, if you look around the world today, a lot of the things that we use and take advantage of in our daily lives were invented by black people. So we should know about this. We should teach our children about this. There's a real sense of pride in knowing that we were intellectual as well as physical, you know? So it's just beautiful. It's just one not to be missed. It's a mold breaker, you know, in terms of holiday genre, in terms of holiday films, because the soundtrack that accompanies it is phenomenal. Wait till you hear it. It's off the chain. It's beautiful. The soundtrack alone is amazing, much less married with the film. So it's definitely one not to be missed.
What's up? I'm David E. Talbert. I am the director and writer of Jingle Jangle, but most importantly, I am Lyn's husband. That is the most important title that I have.
Hi, I'm Lyn Talbert, and I'm the producer of Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle's for everybody, really. It's, I grew up watching movies that moved me, and because of the music, because of the heart, because of the emotion, because of the themes, they were all universal, and that's what we put in this movie. It's music is the universal language, and what makes you feel good is something universal. A smile and laughter, and we put all those things in this movie. So it's for everyone who just wants to feel good, who likes good music, and it's for me as a father. This movie was sitting in my hard drive for a while, and then when we had our son, I remember sitting down and watching with him Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is one of my favorite movies growing up, and I was just sitting there watching it. I said, son, this is Daddy's favorite movie. You're gonna love this. You're gonna watch it. And he watched it for a few minutes, and he got up and started playing with his Legos. And I said, and it hit me that, well, that was for my generation, and I wanted something that was for his generation, something new, something fresh, something that had people that looked like him, that looked like me, and that was still just as universal as Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was for me, and nobody in there looked like me. but it touched me, and so this movie is something that will touch everybody, every race, every color, every nationality, everybody who wants to feel something, everyone who wants to be connected with their family. And I hope this can sit up in on the shelf along the sides of classics that I grew up in, Willy Wonka and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Mary Poppins of the world. That is our hope. This whole idea of wonder and what moves us all, what moves children or moves the child in us all as adults, that's what we're tapping into with this movie, this whole theme of believing again and having hope and families being reconciled and relationships being brought back together. These are all themes that everybody can tap into, and that's what makes this film so magical.
Originally, it was set to be a musical on the stage, and that's the world we came from. So that was kind of how Jingle Jangle came about. I was like, we want to do this big, stage production, Jingle Jangle, Christmas, And our manager, Dave McIlvain, when he was telling him the idea, he was like, I think it's a movie. And we were like, you're right. And meeting Nick Nesbitt at Netflix, for him to say to us, go beyond your imagination. Don't think budget. Just think beyond your imagination. Everything you could ever dream, what would you want to see in this film? And from that, it just opened up that world of wonder and wishes. All those things that we love, we just wanted to do something that really encompassed all of that, and something for our son's generation, but something that also is for us, because we all love those productions, we all love those films and movies, and it just made it so, how can we create the themes that we want to see and make it musical and fun and magical and wondrous and put in belief, because even us, we're sitting there believing that this could happen, and then it actually does. It was really a dream, and we didn't know how we were going to make it happen or when we were going to make it happen, but we knew that one day we would get the chance, and we did. It's truly surreal.
I wanted this movie to not only touch children but adults as well as it does, and I the things that move me about this story is that it is something for all ages. It's grandparents can sit with their grandchildren, and mothers can sit with and fathers can sit with their sons and daughters. It's something that brings everyone together to sit in the television and watch something for, and it's not something, well, kids, you go off to sleep, this ain't for you. We're going to watch this after the kids go to sleep. And it's not something that is just for the kids either. It's something that everybody can sit and watch, and there's something for everyone. There's music that will remind you of some of the classic songs that you grew up humming along, but it has a soulful feel to it. So it's music that may sound familiar, but you've never heard this level of music. And the people that are behind it, John Legend, who's writing, and Phillip Lawrence, 8-time Grammy winner of Bruno Mars fame. And so we put choreography in this. So we're in this big old town square, and we've got 50, 60 people open up the movie with a big number. So it's got the spectacle, it's got the soul, it's got costumes, it's a period piece, it's got the heart. It's something that I am most proud of in the 30 years that I've been writing and directing theater and film. It's something I'm most proud of. It's something that is a piece of me as a child, and it's something that is a piece of me as a father. I probably get the most emotional sometimes because it's a legacy thing for my son, for our son. And hopefully he will be talking about this experience to his children and grandchildren like I talk about the movies that I watched growing up. So if we can do that, then we will have succeeded.
Journey, I feel like, is very much a piece of me and every little girl out there who might have been told, this isn't for you, or you shouldn't do this kind of job, or, this is only for boys, or only boys do that. And it was really important for me, not only for my son, he is surrounded by a lot of very strong women, and he appreciates that. And then also for other little girls to feel comfortable in their skin and to feel like they can do anything that their counterparts can do. And women, this touches me now. I still watch the song, and I was a part of seeing it written, and I was a part of, bringing it to life. But every time I hear it, I still get emotional because it reminds me of the little girl inside of me and reminds me of all the things that I can still do and continue to try to do and make it easier for the young women coming up behind me. Madalen Mills does an amazing job of just...
She's a rock star.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And she connects with the role so well. And her mom said to me, you don't understand what this is doing for her because she never fit in. Even in this world of entertainment and trying to find her way and really find who she is as a 10-year-old girl, she said she's growing so much and feeling confident and seeing what we're doing and seeing what all the rest of the cast is doing, it's helping her be a better person. So these characters, in each of them in their own way, touch on things that all of us are dealing with in our everyday life, not just a fantasy world or, an imaginary world, but everyday life, real life. And it's making us have that feeling of belief again and love again, which is also a universal theme, and forgiveness and hope. And so I think those are things that are most important and certainly what we need right now in the world to remind people of what it is to be loved and to forgive and to help someone through tough times.
I think part of it's just the quality and the quality of the script, but also the talent level, just some of the best actors, best singers we could find for these parts. It's just gonna look and sound so beautiful. Such a great story. And we've never seen anything like this on the big screen before, and it's going to be powerful.
Yeah, just summing up what he said, I think the most powerful thing about it is we've never seen it before. It's literally a first, and I think that's what gets us really excited about presenting something to the world that optically has people that look like us. It creates an environment where little kids can kind of see themselves on the screen, and I think that's what's going to make this movie so epic and an evergreen title that'll be around forever.
As a parent of a young girl, you're very aware of the images that they take in and their presentations of what is beautiful for them. And even at the age of 3, you already see certain, the films that influence them affecting the way they think about what's beautiful, what's to be admired, what inspires them. And so often with so much media that's designed for kids, there aren't a lot of representations of brown and black girls and of them as ideals of beauty, of smarts, of talent, of leadership, of ingenuity. There's just not a lot of those images out there. And I am personally excited to show this to my daughter so that she can see herself on the screen in a way that's going to be really inspiring for her. The first time I saw Madalen playing Journey, I just thought about how much my daughter was going to fall in love with her. It feels nostalgic, it feels timeless, it feels classic, and we try to write songs that were classics too, songs that would stand the test of time, and I think they will. I was excited for us to work on this film in any respect because I thought it was a great script and a great opportunity to make something new and exciting. But of course, I write songs for a living, and when David asked me to write some ideas for this film, I wrote a couple ideas, but he brought me the idea of doing something called Make It Work for this particular scene. He described what the energy of the scene would be like. He suggested Making It Work as a title because he wanted to connect the idea of making the toys work, making the robots work, and then making a relationship work, a relationship that was broken, that was estranged. And so I sat there and I wrote that idea. He was sitting next to me on the piano in my house, and I sketched out the idea for it right there on the spot when he said, let's do a song called Make It Work. I sketched out the whole idea, and then he loved it, and then I wrote the lyrics basically responding to kind of the moments in the script that we were at, and just wanted to tell the story and connect to what the characters were feeling in that moment. I didn't know Anika was going to be singing it, but woo, am I glad she is. She sounds so good. She's obviously an extremely gifted and renowned musical actor, and she is killing it. I'm so happy to hear the words and the melodies that I wrote through her voice and through the great Forrest Whitaker. I've never actually had a song that I wrote that was sung in a film. So I've had songs that, were on soundtracks. I've been, the end title credit for Selma, of course, where I won the Oscar, but I've never actually seen an actor singing my song on a screen before. So this is actually a new experience for me.
That was a nice humble brag.
It was like
that's good.
Like a mellow, I have an Oscar.
Yeah, that's cool.
Drop.
Yeah, that's nice.
I feel so fortunate that we get to work with the level of talent from behind the camera to our actors. Everybody's just so good at what they do and so excited to be here. It makes coming to work every day very cool experience.
And the other great thing about producing is it's not just about being on set. It's all the steps that you take to get to set. It's about developing the script and getting the story to a place where you feel like it's ready to kind of be shot. And it's about being on set. And like John said, getting the actors and putting the team together, watching them execute to the point you feel like each take you get what you need. And then you go into post and you're a part of that process. So producing, it's a full-fledged fun ride to the screen.
We love working with Harvey. He's a good friend, and we just trust him. He makes such great musical decisions. He knows how to take something from being an idea to being a full record and making it really fit with the film and with the action on the screen. So working with him has been incredible. I also love working with David Talbert, our director and writer. I think he has a good sense of what he wants the music to be. He is really good at describing how the music should work for the scene, and it was really helpful when I was writing the song to have him sitting right next to me as I was coming up with the idea, because I think the song wouldn't be what it was without his direction, his vision, and then me trying to implement that through song.
And again, I think Phil Lawrence and Davey Nathan, they brought their own talents to the project as well. They produced the entire soundtrack and wrote or co-wrote every song outside of Make It Work. Davey is the Israeli assassin, I like to call him. He's just this Israeli guy who's super focused on his music, and he's a great piano player and just super talented. And then Phil Lawrence he produced Beyonce. He was Bruno Mars's MD, and he brings that kind of flavor to the production as well. So between Harvey, Davey, and Phil, and then David Talbert's guidance and insight, it's just a dream team musically. And you sprinkle that John Legend on it, and it's just like a powerful, powerful soundtrack.
We went far and wide trying to find a new star because most of the actors in the film are pretty established. A lot of them are very well known and have a great reputation, and we're so honored to have them. But for the Journey character, we needed someone fresh, someone new, someone young, and it's not so easy to find that person. But we found Madalen, and she is, I couldn't imagine anyone better doing this role. man, we hit the jackpot.
Oh my God! And Lily and Reg, who are casting directors, who did an exhaustive search to find everyone for this film, were fantastic. They worked really well with the rest of the producing team and with Netflix. I mean, Forrest Whitaker, Anika Noni Rose, Keegan-Michael Key,
Phylicia
Rashad, Mrs. Huxtable. We love her. She's everyone's mother. Hugh Bonneville from Downton Abbey. Ricky Martin. I mean, it's just an incredible.
Who's Ricky Martin?
Don Juan.
I've never heard of him.
Oh, Ricky Martin is this singer.
Oh,
He's not,
interesting.
No worries. No worries. He's an actor now.
Oh, okay.
But so are you now. You're an actor. You were nominated.
He was nominated too.
Yeah. Yeah, Kieran A is a delight. And he literally has never acted before in his life. Maybe a school play, I'm not sure. But basically it was his birthday. Choir. But it was his birthday. He knew about the audition. He begged his parents for his present to bring him to audition. And they're like, sure, we'll spend a couple hours doing this audition. And he booked it.
Can you imagine a wiser gift for a young kid to ask for? A better investment in their future.
Exactly. He didn't want a truck. He wanted
They didn't want a PlayStation.
He wanted a check. And you know what? He got it. First audition, first booking.
Wow, that's vision.
It's vision.
I love it.
I mean, he set the bar pretty high. But he's delightful. He's a sweet kid. He's always smiling. Maddie tortures him, which is so much fun for all of us to watch. But he's special. I think one of my favorite scenes I've watched this film so far is when Jessica is sending Journey off to meet Geronicus for the first time, and there's that stress of like, when I was a young woman, he wasn't there for me, which is what forced me to leave and start my family, become estranged from him, and now I'm sending my child into that same environment. And I just think that was such a powerful moment of a mother kind of relinquishing her fears for what could potentially be the greater good. And again, it's about second chances and forgiveness, so I thought it was a really powerful scene.
I love that this film will be something that's so inspiring and exciting for Luna, but also something that we as parents will love to watch. My parents will love to watch it. I think it's just really entertainment and joy for all generations. This movie is joyful. It's about forgiveness. It's about second chances. There's beautiful songs in it, and it's not all bubble gum. It's like actual family drama that I think a lot of people will resonate with. But there's so much joy in the way the actors are portraying the songs, the way the songs come off on screen. I think people are just going to really connect to it, and I'm so excited for people to watch it. It's for everybody. I think people who love musicals, people who love holiday films, black audiences that will be excited to see themselves on the screen in this type of film that they really haven't seen before. I think so many audiences will love it, but mainly people who like joy.
It's just a fun movie. I mean, and one thing we haven't really talked a lot about is the choreography in the film, and the dancing is absolutely out of this world. And I just think, again, people are going to gather around the TV, put on Netflix, choose Jingle Jangle, and have a great time. It's going to be 2 hours of fun.